Welcome back to Seen It Before, where we're probably going to say something stupid about your favorite movie because we've seen it all before. I'm Danny.
I'm Dan, and I still didn't think of anything to say to you, but we did some fantastic forecastings today.
We did.
We tried to think of some good ones.
I forgot what we posted because we were talking before the podcast. We came up with a bunch of different other ones.
Yeah, we posted them like a month ago at this point, but we have some new entries into those. We have the courtesy of other people we know. So we have Giancarlo Esposito as Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
I'd be down.
Really cool.
Yeah. And then somebody also said, I don't know the guy's name, but Chidi from The Good Place. He'd be a good pick for Reed Richards.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Because I think, he's got like the neuroticism down, the kind of like nerdy. I mean, he's literally plays a nerd great.
But could he play a dickhead?
Yeah, I don't know. He's really kind of a nice guy in that show, but I haven't seen that much from him, so I don't. And actors can act; they can do pretty much anything. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then we got if they do go with John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, I think they could get away with Brendan Fraser as Ben Grimm.
That'd be okay.
I think that would be really cool. You can get the sad, depressive side of Ben Grimm with poor Brendan Fraser, but I think he could also bring this kind of Nick Cage-like energy to it, like kind of campy. So it's clobber time.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's great in The Mummy, and in his recent role in Doom Patrol is sort of like Ben Grimm's role, so I could see that, yeah.
Be cool. Really cool if he's not tied up with other projects. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the Fantastic Four today. We're here to talk about Django Unchained. Yeah. This is one of the better Tarantino movies, I think. We've done a lot of Tarantino movies.
I think it's my second favorite.
Your second favorite?
It used to be like fourth or fifth, but it's I've watched it multiple times in the past, and it's matured over time. Although there's a lot of immaturity in the movie, but which we'll get to. But
well, it's definitely my second or third favorite. Like Inglourious is up there, and so is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh my god, I love that movie.
Yeah,
the movie's so well done. But we're not here to talk about those movies. Let's get to Django Unchained. Django! Yes.
That was so cringy.
Shut up.
I almost want to redo this, but
no. Okay, fine.
But
redo it then.
So the song is I'm not positive, but so this movie Django Unchained is based off of the 1966 movie 67 called Django, and actually there's ironic. The guy who plays Django in the first one, he shows up as a cameo later on at Candy's plantation. He's I
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a real quick scene where Django's like Jamie Foxx. Django tells him, he's like, what's your name? He's like, Django. How do you spell it? Django. He's like, the D's silent, and the guy says, yeah, I know, because he played him. So, yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I missed that. Anyway, I miss a lot of things. We missed a lot of this movie.
Yeah, well, we were talking about, but I've seen this movie so many times, so I could talk about it for a while.
Yeah. You're probably going to have to talk about it for a while. But anyway, so this movie starts out, it starts off right away, too, with that song going through everything, all the towns and
it's
whatnot.
Very classic, this is a movie. We're going to have a really extended scene with a song playing, with all the credits coming through, with this very cinematic of all the slaves walking through all the different terrain and stuff, Yep.
I always get this movie and Hateful Eight mixed up because they both kind of start with the scene in the forest. One's at winter and one's here, and I always think, Sam Jackson's going to show up in this one early on. Nope.
Well, he's in it, but
he doesn't show up first off.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I always get them mixed up, whichever one is which.
Well, so. I mean, I don't, because they're both based in the West, the Old West, and they both have bounty hunters.
Both in the 1800s.
Yeah, and so it's I want, and that's the kind of my gripe with this movie a little bit, is I want it so bad, or Hateful Eight. I want it so badly to be a sequel to Django Unchained. But it's just not. I have a feeling it might have been at one point in Tarantino's head, and he's like, no, I like this Marquis Warren guy so much, and he's not really a Django type, so let's, do a completely different character, and then,
Maybe he wanted to make Django he has that movie universe and the real life universe. Maybe Django is the movie universe, and then
maybe
Hateful Eight was the real life universe type of deal.
I'm not sure where this one lines up, where Django lines up, and is that like an old-timey story? Because Kill Bill, that's the TV universe. That's definitely the TV. Pulp Fiction is the real world, because she describes Uma Thurman describes the events of Kill Bill. I don't know where Death Proof lands. I don't know where Jackie Brown might be. I haven't
seen either of them, so
I haven't seen either of those either. But yeah, and then in Kill Bill, the bride gets buried in someone's grave with the last name Schultz. So there's a theory out there that Dr. King Schultz had a daughter. Then she died, and then that's the grave that she ends up in. So that would put these movies in the TV universe. Django, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting at this point, because that would make sense. This one definitely feels more like a film anyway itself.
Yeah.
So
I mean, all of Tarantino's like period pieces, are they connected? Are they, what do you think?
I really don't know, because I mean that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I have absolutely no idea, because that one's so far like ahead of different ones, or like in a different time period he hasn't really done before, the 60s. So
yeah. So Tarantino, I guess, gets the N-word pass.
I would hope so for this movie, because it said a lot.
Well, yeah. Well, so it just makes me think of like Tarantino's past with the word, because in Pulp Fiction, obviously there's a whole scene where he's just like saying it over and over and over again, and it's like I give this movie more of a pass than Pulp Fiction or like any other movie. I mean, maybe Hateful Eight is another pass.
It's a period piece. Is that why you give it more of a pass for this one?
It's based in that time period. Yeah. You have white slavers, racist white slavers that are...
Yeah, it's like the end of the Civil War, so like end of slavery in a way. It's around that time. Yeah. Coming on the end, or the very high point of slavery. I don't remember.
It's 2 years before the Civil War.
So
I think that's when...
Okay, so it's the high point of...
Yeah, it's slavery. Like right where intentions are really high.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's just like Tarantino's way of being like... Where he gets the reputation of being super edgy.
I just keep getting away with it, though.
You can't keep getting away with it.
Just like, how... Like, I get it, but like...
Well, he's got Sam Jackson vouching for him.
And I guess Jamie Foxx, too, with this movie, too. So
yeah, so it's like...
You know what? Hey, he gets the pass for it and he can get away with it.
The only one I really have a problem with is when he's saying it in Pulp Fiction, because that one's not really like... Because he just writes these characters that throw it around willy-nilly. Mm-hmm. It's like because of like how the conversation around the word is like you can't say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The stigma around it is definitely that you can't say it.
I think that's why people kind of use it to hate on Tarantino, because he's like, oh, he's just an edgelord, and he's very much abusing his power when it comes to that. But I don't know.
He's got one more movie. So
he's got one more movie. Listen, I used to be a huge fan of Tarantino. He used to be my favorite director, and then I just started realizing that, like, I used to be a film bro.
Used to be my ass. Okay.
Well, I'm not as much a film bro as Mike, where he's just like, the artistic value of, no offense, Mike. I like Grand Budapest.
Hotel.
But yeah, I feel it's just like, I've gotten past that phase. I don't need the shock value of, just that word, and not what he stands for, but what he kind of imbues in his art. They're very entertaining and good movies, and the dialogue cannot be matched.
While we're talking about all these movies, what's your top 3 Tarantino movies?
3 would be, man, it's almost a tie between Once Upon a Time and Hateful Eight. Because I love his period pieces. I think that's his best work.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I think I'm gonna go Once Upon a Time. That was just because of the flamethrower scene. Great scene. And it's kind of like a Linklater film where it's kind of very fun, and you just want to enjoy the ride with these characters. Then Django Unchained, because it tells the most badass bounty hunter story I think I've ever heard. And Inglourious Basterds, because that's my number 1, but just because it's a friggin' masterpiece. He says it at the end of the movie. He's like, I think this might be my masterpiece. I'm like, you're right.
I think I was hoping you were going to put it in that order, because mine's the exact reverse of yours.
Reverse, okay.
So Inglourious is number 3, Django is number 2, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is number 1.
All right, I can respect that. They're all very close in quality, and
they're all like three of his four most recent films right there. So
he just gets better with age, you know?
See, I'm really hoping for that horror movie to be his next one, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I'd like to see what he does with horror.
I would love to see, because I mean, with this movie, like the blood, the amount of fucking blood in Django.
Oh yeah, my God. It's off the wall.
It's like their heads are fucking exploding watermelons. Like, dude.
He goes very. So that's almost why I get concerned about if he were to do a horror movie, because it's like
too campy,
way too campy. Like there's a reason Sam Raimi went from straight horror to horror comedy.
What if he did a slasher?
That would be different.
Made it campy.
That would be different. Yeah, if he did like a classic slasher movie, which I think he would be kind of right in the area for.
You remember American Horror Story season 6, where it was like that?
Is that Roanoke?
Roanoke, yeah. So it was half like a ghost hunter show and then half in real life.
Yeah.
What if he did something like that? Like it could be very campy for part of the movie, and then outside of that, like they're making a campy movie, and then something goes wrong or something like that, like during filming. It could be very interesting, I think, if it goes that direction.
I think, you know what I think he'd end up doing? I think he'd end up doing like a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood thing, where he has like the serious story of like the people. Or actually, no, because he's kind of reversed in Once Upon a Time. But like, I don't know, his larger than life character writing would definitely have to go into them filming the horror movie, like and then behind the scenes, and they have like an actual drama or whatever. But you can't. I think the campiness has to be separate from the rest of the story.
Yeah,
you have to, because if you're going to indulge in that area.
So it's like a mix of his TV world and his real life world.
What if that's where he comes out and says like exactly like, you know, Red Apple cigarettes are part of the TV universe, and then you know what I mean?
Could be interesting.
That'd be cool. Like we really get like kind of like an explanation of
well,
kind of like an end game of like, because end game is just a celebration victory lap for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes,
climaxed thing in Infinity War. So that's what I say, like, you know, one of his best movies is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is kind of the climax of his career.
Yeah.
So.
Dang. Yeah. Yeah. So that, I didn't expect this conversation, but I like this. I like where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Tarantino, if you're listening, do it.
Do it.
Do it. Anyway.
So one thing I noticed in this, and I don't hear enough people talking about this, James Remar.
Yeah,
he is one of my, he's one of my favorite actors. Yeah, I loved him in Dexter. I loved him in Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Okay.
He's awesome in that. It's just such a campy movie, but he's like one of those like underground actors, and perfect for a Tarantino movie. And he actually plays two characters in this movie. He plays the guy who gets shot right in the face by King Schultz right in the beginning.
Okay.
And he's the one who's like pointing the rifle at him with the lantern on the rifle. He's like, "What do you want?" And then he also plays Candy's henchman at the end of the movie. He's got like a bowler hat and a mustache. So I just thought like even Tarantino reuses actors. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, if the background enough, or like they don't have big enough a role, and you kind of change their look a little bit. I mean, you're not really going to notice unless you're looking for it, like you.
Yeah. Well, I'm just like, hey, that's James Remar.
It's a pretty cool side gig of dentistry he's got going on.
Oh yeah,
like
it's very random. It's just thrown out there. I liked it.
Was he actually a dentist?
I think he was. Well, because he says in the movie that, you know, dentistry took kind of hit a wall, and then he's like, oh, the bounty hunting is like a thing, so I could just do that. You know,
I'd love to see some more background on King Schultz. That'd be really cool.
I think he's the best character in the movie.
I mean, I
like him a lot.
Christoph Waltz won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. So he used to be my favorite actor, and I think that only got bumped out by Andrew Scott, maybe. Andrew Scott really only has one role that like I really love him in, and it's Moriarty.
Yeah, he's our pick for Dr. Doom as well.
He's our pick. Yeah, we picked him for Dr. Doom. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, King Schultz, he's just kind of like it's just nice to see kind of like a really good character in such an evil world. Yeah. Everyone, and even Django, is kind of despicable. Like
he's more jaded.
Yeah, he's like, but it's like, I mean, he's killing justifiably,
Yes.
But like he's still very brutal with his kills. I mean, so is Schultz, but like Django has more of like a haunted like I want to do this kind of thing. King's just kind of like circumstance, except for when he kills Candy. That he's like, I couldn't resist. But it's such a good line delivery that he says, you know?
It is. Leo plays such a dick in this movie. I love that.
Dude. He's not terrifying. Like everyone says he's terrifying. No, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, and you just want to punch him right in the face. And like I never realized, but like Leonardo DiCaprio, kind of a punchable face. You know what I mean?
Certain roles, yeah.
Certain roles, yeah.
Oh, and I will give him the
stupid
credit.
little, you know, the little tiny like.
It's the meme, and then it's the. It's like, oh, and they zoom in on his face, that type of thing, or.
Wait, what?
The meme where like.
Are you like talking like the push zoom right when they introduce him? Yeah. He's like, you know, like
that, and then there's also.
And then the
smash the glass.
We smash the glass.
That scene.
Yeah, everyone has mentioned it. Everyone's mentioned that's a real life injury. Okay, let's get past that.
Real injury. Great acting. Great. Whatever.
Yeah, but that scene is very intense. Where like he, you know, like
again,
Tarantino's
great with suspense.
Yeah,
and building suspense.
And yeah, that's his whole.
Exactly.
Like that's why I love Inglourious Basterds so much, because the first scene is literally 25 minutes long.
Just talking.
It's just talking,
yep.
And he ramps it up, and then he like he lets it breathe, and he ramps it up again, and like he does the same thing in the bar scene. That's my favorite scene in that movie, just because everything comes together. It's just so great.
Django, Jamie Foxx, perfect casting. That was like it's just Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, and Jamie Foxx, I feel kind of just plays everything. Ever since he got nominated or won the Oscar for Ray, he's just kind of like, I'm gonna play myself,
and it works. Just. Yeah. He's literally like the same guy in every single movie I've seen him in.
Yeah, because I can see when he's playing Electro, I can just be like, "That's Django."
Just straight up Jamie
Just gonna pretend I'm not standing here butt ass naked.
Yeah. And then he comes out in the blue suit in this movie. It's like, yep, that's definitely Jamie Foxx.
We're talking like you know, like we're definitely like he's asked Tarantino if he could just wear that.
It's like, all right. It's like so you found him in the back lot or something. It's like, this looks cool. Let's wear that.
Yeah. So there's an awesome comic book out there, and I read a little bit of it, called Django/Zorro. And it's exactly what you think it is. Django and Zorro go on bounty hunting adventures. It's amazing. And like Quentin Tarantino wrote a little bit, or I think he wrote some of the story, and then it was, I mean, it's really good. I read some of it, and it's, they just...
Is that in your Film Bro days, or is that just the reason that you found that?
I found it years ago.
Yeah, Film Bro days.
Okay. Film Bro days, yeah.
Yeah. Of course you'd enjoy that. But that does sound really cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a big fan of Zorro. I don't know too much about the character, but that does sound like it'd be like a cool thing to witness, especially in like a movie. But like a comic, you know what, that works too. Yeah.
I mean, well, there's a lot of stuff in the comics that like when I was collecting those comics, there was also this other movie or the other comic book run called Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. So, basically, Freddy versus Jason, they both get resurrected by the Necronomicon, and then Ash from Evil Dead has to come and kill them, and it's great because like the thing that was missing in Freddy versus Jason was they didn't have like a hero.
Let's talk about the first town in the room where they are catching the sheriff.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise where they
like he was. Yeah, it's like, oh. Who was it? Was it the marshal? That's like who said you want me to seem like white folk?
They go so they go to the saloon.
Yeah.
The bartender's like, that's a black man. I'm gonna go run and get the sheriff.
Yep.
And then King Schultz is like, make sure you get the sheriff, not the marshal. And then kills the sheriff, and he's like, now you may get the marshal. Yeah. So, yep. I just thought that was so great.
It was a great comedic scene, and it's like, oh shit. He's a bad guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He had a bounty.
I mean, and plus it's a setup for his sleeve gun, where like that comes back in when he kills Candy.
Set up and payoff. Yeah.
Set up and payoff. I see what you're doing, Tarantino.
It's a pretty cool weapon, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But then they go on a few more adventures. Like it's a while they go on these other adventures. They're like little things that eventually leads to the what's the place where
the Candyland
Broomhill is.
Well, so they go to
Is it Candyland?
wait, no. Yeah, Candyland. Well, it's like they have to go to one place and then they take a long trip to Candyland.
Yeah.
Where this is a side note. Candy totally wants to fuck his sister.
Oh yeah.
Where,
we did talk about this.
Yeah. Where's my beautiful sister? And he like makes out with her basically.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's weird.
It's another weird Tarantino thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we see feet in this movie?
I don't know. We probably. I mean, maybe we
probably
see,
did.
we probably see
wasn't as
Kerry
noticeable.
Washington's feet or something.
Probably. Anyway, they're at Candyland, and do we think that Schultz knows Broomhilda or Hildy, however you want to call her?
Yeah. So I don't. He like. It's
before
not
he meets
explicitly
Django.
said, but he like sounds like when he hears about Broomhilda, he's like
a German
slave, or like she speaks German and like.
It's like, yeah, you wouldn't forget that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's very unusual, like
Yeah.
And then like she learned from her mistress,
Her mistress.
who wanted to
You mean her maid? Or
master's wife. Is that
master's
mistress?
wife. Was it the mistress?
I don't know what the term is.
Well,
But
it was the master's wife.
Master's wife.
So, yeah, that's mistress. Okay,
Okay.
I thought it was the maid or something. Okay.
Oh, it might have been it doesn't matter.
Either
but she learned so just because she was bored and wanted someone to talk German with. Like that's such a random thing. But like
Very unusual. Very.
But I like it's kind of grounding like a relationship between Schultz and Hildy.
Then the KKK scene comes up.
Oh, I forgot about the KKK scene.
That's after Candyland, right? Or is that right during Candyland? I think it's right during
Candyland isn't introduced until like after the midpoint. They don't even talk about it until that's what those we're talking about. There's a lot of meandering kind of in the beginning. They go from the whole scene where like
the
sheriff shoots the sheriff. Then they go to the Brittle Brothers.
The Brittle Brothers. That's the one I
Yeah.
was thinking of. Fuck.
Yeah, they go to I forgot what it's called, but they're under a different name, and Big Daddy's place, played by Don Johnson. Great role. Yeah. And he's like, I like that. Like, so here's the thing I like about Tarantino. His dialogue can't be matched by anyone. You're entertained no matter what if he writes dialogue. The thing is though, there's a lot of just content that we just have to sift through, and there's not like it doesn't mean anything, but I'm entertained. But so it's like specifically like the joke where like Big Daddy's like telling one of the slaves, the girl, he's like now this is Django, he's not a slave like everyone else, he's different, he's special. And then she says, so you want me to treat him like white folks? And he's like, I didn't say that. So it's like that, like it's a fun back and forth, but like
I couldn't remember it was the Brittle Brothers. I couldn't remember their names.
I like that because that's like the beginning of Django's arc, where like his vengeance arc, where he's like, oh, I can do this, I can fight back. And he's like, because there's the flashback where like Hildy's getting whipped. He's like, I like the way you beg, boy. And like, so then he's like, so Django shoots him with I'm not sure if it's with his sleeve gun or not, but he shoots him real quick. But it's like it's nicely, the bullet's nicely placed because he has like patches of his clothes are patched with pages of the Bible, and he uses the Bible to justify his like whipping the slaves and why this is whipping this being a slave owner is okay and blah blah blah. But Django shoots the Bible symbolically, being like, fuck your religion, like fuck your justification for all of this horrible shit you've done, So I thought that was nice. And perfect line, I like the way you die, boy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You die, boy.
Great callback, set up, payoff again.
Yep. And then we get to the KKK scene.
In the KKK scene. Oh, man.
Fucking Jonah Hill shows up.
Jonah Hill shows up. I'm just like, is that Jonah Hill? I'm like,
why is he here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene is so fucking funny.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, though, that it's not needed. It really isn't.
It's not, but I think it's...
I love it.
It's like
Tarantino, you got to learn to kill your darlings. If he wasn't Tarantino, that movie or that scene would definitely be cut.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But just because he's like, I'm Tarantino, I can do what the fuck I want.
I can make these 3-hour movies if I want.
Yeah, which he did.
It's
I mean,
240. Yeah,
Hateful Eight
that's over 3.
Is so long that they had to break it up into episodes on Netflix.
Well, they made an extended cut on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that must have been like the road show, because they actually did a road show for that release where they had like an intermission and everything, like right when Jody's introduced, or something like
I
that.
don't remember. I've seen the movie once.
Channing Tatum.
I remember he comes out from under the floorboards.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to blow your nutsack off.
That's the one thing I remember from that movie.
But yeah, I like the whole back and forth with the cake. He's like they cut holes and he's like, I can't see out of it. And I like the one guy, he takes one of his eye holes and he spits out the tobacco from it. And they're all just having a regular conversation, like, you know, I'm sure we appreciate Millard's wife taking the time to make the sheets. But next time we'll have some constructive criticism. You could have made the holes a little bigger. Like,
oh my god,
so stupid but perfect. You know.
Now we go to Candyland. So now we've settled the Brittle Brothers.
Yeah.
Now we can go back to Candyland because we forgot about the Brittle Brothers.
Yeah.
So Candyland. Yeah, as you said, he's totally fucking his sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
Well, we guessed how old she was, right? Because you were talking to someone about her neck. You can tell by the...
Yeah, because you can tell how old people are by, like, their neck. Like, you can't tell from their face because they can put, like, 5 pounds of makeup on.
Yeah.
But then if you look at their neck and it's all wrinkly and stuff like that, you're like, oh, they're definitely a little older. Like, if it's not as, you know, like...
It's, like, not as elastic.
Yeah, it's not as elastic, not as stretchy. Like, it's just kind of sagging there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's... So you can tell they're kind of older or whatever.
Yeah, well, whereas... It might have been from How I Met Your Mother, but he's like, Marshall, I think, said, like, I know the man called Old Turkey Neck.
Old Turkey Neck.
He's got one of like, those, like, leathery skins. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, open phone. On my nose.
So the whole thing with Candy, we really get to see how just awful he is. Just a vile human being. Like, I think he might be worse than Wanda from Inglourious Basterds. I think he's worse. I honestly, because the first we get introduced to him at a bar watching two guys beat each other to death. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and it's just, you know, and then there's that. And then on their way to the trip, one slave decides to run away. They catch him in a tree and then they feed him to dogs.
Yep.
And he's like, I condone this. And I'm like,
yeah, he's
he's evil.
A little extra.
He's an evil person.
Yeah.
Like, he's awful. I don't like him. But
I don't like him.
I don't like him. But yeah,
I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah. I wonder if, like, there was actual, like, tension between, because, like, DiCaprio plays it very well. Like, I wonder if there's any like, unintentional tension between the cast members.
I don't think so.
Like, I mean, you don't have to get amped up for the scene, you know?
You definitely do, but, like, it's a movie. You're making art.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it actually reminds me of the whole, like, conversation between method acting and, like, people thinking they're all douchebags.
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of agree. If you're mailing used condoms to your castmates,
yeah,
just for a dramatic effect, I don't know. It's dumb.
Yeah, and then there's the dumb feud between The Rock and Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's all about.
I don't know. I think it's the contract because The Rock can't lose a fight in a movie or something.
Oh yeah, so they're both in. Yeah, we were talking about on the Fast Five podcast. Yeah. They can't lose a fight and spin their contracts.
Fucking dumb.
Yeah,
stupidest thing.
I think The Rock got mad because The Rock is a very work-oriented person. You hear like the rumors that he wakes up at like 4 a.m. and goes to sleep at midnight or some shit like that.
It's probably something crazy like that.
He's working all day, and then Vin Diesel, not looking the most in shape lately. And I guess he called him. Remember something like he called him a candy ass?
Maybe
like filming like the 8th one or something like that. But yeah, they don't like each other.
I think The Rock's done with the franchise, right?
I don't know. I think he's done working with Vin Diesel.
Something he's done with the franchise.
Well, no, because they did Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh,
that's without Vin Diesel. Like that's without Dom Toretto. He's like did his own thing. Right. Yeah. So I remember back when it thought it was Tyrese was mad at him, but I guess they're cool. I don't know.
Yeah. So
I like that Tarantino kind of hints at like I don't know. He's like I may be reading too far into this, but I think Tarantino leaves a little there for like Candy's kind of sexual proclivities. Because he said he's very into the skull, and he's very into the guys wrestling. I'm not sure if that's just his power thing, power trip or not, but I don't know. He's very into it.
He likes to be dominant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dominantly bisexual.
I don't know. Could be.
Maybe. Who knows? Anyway. But yeah, the whole dinner scene is...
The dinner scene's long.
It's very long. It's kind of like the for opening scene of Inglourious. I mean,
yeah,
or the bar scene even. It's one of those. It's like a longer type of scene, but
yeah. But there's so much that happens. Like it's basically a giant exposition dump into the psyche of Candy and why he is the way that he is, and we learn more about just how the whole thing operates. And we forgot to mention maybe the second worst character, most vile character in the movie is Steven, played by Sam Jackson. He is awful, and I can't believe there were actual people like this in history, because it's based off, there's a lot of the rules are based off of history, and to hate yourself that much to work for your enemy, there's some sort of Stockholm syndrome thing going on, or so, but he's awful.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad he got his kneecaps shot out.
Yeah.
There's the library scene. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, so basically the climax of the entire the entire movie.
Ding. Yeah.
Candy finally dies. And that's the weird thing. That's not even, it's like the first climax thing of the movie, and then there's another climax thing of the rest of the movie, where because then there's a bloodbath, and then we get kind of a third, or like a meandering kind of scene with the Australians, the Quint.
Yeah, what was that about? That was weird.
It's just a way for Django. So it's like the all is lost moment where Django loses, and he gets shipped off to an Australian slaver company or whatever. Which I heard from a thing that Tarantino wanted a cameo in the movie, but he couldn't do a Southern accent, so they made it Australian because that's the only accent he could do.
See, it's weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
That scene does not make any sense. But he frees some slaves. He blows up these dudes. He's like, oh, here, take this, and then he's like, oh,
yeah,
he blows them up.
Yeah, well, so it's very Django learned a lot from Schultz throughout the movie, or kind of being more or less a gentleman, and just learning the people skills, the manipulation skills that King, and the confidence that King had, and to get out of this sticky situation. Because he even says, do I sound like a slave right now? I'm talking to you. I sound like a bounty hunter because I am a bounty hunter. Here's the paperwork in my papers or whatever. Because he's like, we're gonna go. The Crazy Craig Coon's gang is chilling at Candyland. We're gonna go back there. I'll go with you. We're gonna go get their bounty. And I'm like, hey, that's pretty neat, because that's a setup from when they set up the Crazy Craig Coons, or the Smitty McCall gang, back in the beginning when they were the fun and games part, where they're getting all the bounties and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, you don't like that.
I don't like that scene. Scenes.
But yeah, it shows how far Django's come to be the bounty hunter that he's kind of meant to be. So, and then he just completely wrecks shop with all of them.
Absolutely.
Blows one up, frees his slave brothers, and then, and he's back on his... Yeah.
Goes back after the funeral of Candy.
Yeah.
Bye, Miss Laura.
Yeah.
She get fucking yanked.
It's say bye, Miss Laura. Huh?
That was the campiest.
Yeah, it's very campy, comical.
I love it.
So that's why I think that if we're going back to the slasher movie thing, I think Tarantino is more suited to be more campy.
Yeah, and that's really all the notes I have. Bye, Miss Laura. I think is my favorite line in the movie. Say bye, Miss Laura. Bye, Miss Laura.
Bye, Miss Laura. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple other things. Just kind of little things like the burn box, little things to me that I assume were historically accurate. Just all the awful ways that people killed people, like the burn box, where Kerry Washington's locked in there, or Hildy, she's locked in there for, I don't know how long, could be hours, could be days, and then she's just in the hot sun, naked in a metal box. Like, that's gotta be awful.
I'm pretty sure the burn boxes were real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're killing people with dogs. You know.
Yeah, just the most despicable ways of killing people. It's just crazy.
One thing. Okay, so here's the also when Django gets captured, like I'm like sitting on like the edge of my seat, like going like this, like ooh, you know, like when Walton Goggins is about to neuter him. So
bringing back memories of Casino Royale.
Oh yeah, dude, that scene is hard to watch. God. Yeah. But I that scene, and speaking of that, but James Bond is like, you know, he's still cool. He's like, I have an itch. Can you get that? You know, I'm just like, he even in the most dire situation, he's cool. But yeah, Django, he's helpless, and you know, I think it's a bit contrived that they're like, we're gonna sell you, and you know, like just kill him. Like if you're you know what's good for you. He took out your entire house of like all your guards and stuff. Just kill him. You know, so you plot armor a little bit, but I'm not sure if you know, they put like this metal rig on Django, or like around his neck, and then kind of have like these prongs, like these 4 prongs, kind of coming up from his shoulders. What's that for? Like I saw that in another movie. I think it was Free State of Jones or something like that. Like what's that? What's the purpose of that?
I don't know. Like a human dog going. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that, where it's like, wait, you're not gonna let him itch his head or something?
Yeah, I really don't know what it's used for. You had to look it up.
Yeah, probably something awful.
It can't be anything good.
So Django finally goes to back to Candyland, and then he finishes his mission.
Yeah. Blows up the fucking house.
Blows up the house, you know, and they have like kind of like a triumphant like spaghetti western song, kind of like how the beginning was. And I just thought it was nice, you know, we get to see a happy ending in such a horrifying and otherwise brutal movie. But it's played for laughs. So it's like the tone is very different all over the place, but very well balanced at the same time. You know?
I'd agree with that.
Because it's like, it's very dark in certain parts. It's very kind of campy in other parts, and then it's fun.
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. I liked it. I think it's one of Tarantino's best.
I mean, yeah, you think it's his third best.
It's his third best movie.
Second best, you think. Yeah, you thought it was second, because third was Once Upon a Time.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Again, bound to change. All right, Danny. Favorite scene from this movie?
My favorite scene, I was going to say that it was going to be the bloodbath. But, you know, I think I like the dramatization of, especially with the music. There's like the song, I think it's called Freedom, where they're running from the slavers, Django and Hildy. They're trying to get away, and it's like kind of like the backstory of how they got the runaway R's on their face.
Yes.
And then he's like, I just like the song, and I like the dramatization and stuff, and just that montage is really good. So it's probably my favorite scene.
See, I was gonna pick the KKK scene, but I did realize, it's not really needed in the movie.
Yeah,
it's a great scene, but it isn't needed. So I think I'm gonna pick the end scene. You know, where he kills everyone. The
bloodbath,
yeah,
the first one.
No, the very end of the movie.
Well, so there's like the by Miss Laura. That's the second one, and then when King kind of sets everything off. And then Django like shoots fucking everyone.
Yeah, no, the second one.
The second one. Okay, when he blows up the house.
Laura, yeah,
that's awesome.
That's my favorite scene. It's great.
Oh my god! If you can hear that, it's thundering out. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's not looking too good out today.
Yeah, we're gonna be driving home in the rain
and the wind. Anyway, yeah. So, all right. Is there a scene you would cut, Danny?
Like we mentioned it before. I'd probably just cut the KKK scene. It's very fun. But like, it's just not needed. And I mean, there's a lot of scenes you could shorten, cut down. You could definitely cut down the dinner scene by a lot, because you don't have to go on this monologue about, you know, the guy with the hammer and the indents on his skull.
Thor.
I mean, it just, when you say Thor?
Yeah.
But like, we already know Candy's an evil person. It just makes him more evil. So, you know, we don't need that.
Yeah, I think you can cut down the montage at the beginning after the sheriff. Like, there's a lot. There's just, or even going to the sheriff. Like, there's so much time just being spent just, I guess, building his character, but like, it's too long. They can cut down like 2 or 3 of those and the KKK scene. You got the movie down to like probably a little under 2.5. Like, this movie is 2:45, and that's long. Like, again, we talked through a lot of it. We also haven't seen the movie before, but like...
Well, it's like, it almost feels like Tarantino wanted to indulge a little bit further. So what I'm thinking, and what's your idea, what's your thought? He already split Kill Bill into 2 movies. What about splitting this one into 2 movies?
I don't think he could have done that.
There's not much there?
I mean, there's a lot there that he probably still could have gone into, but I don't think you want to stretch it out too far like Kill Bill, because Kill Bill 2 was kind of... So...
Yeah, the second half, I don't like that too much.
So it's just like, you don't really want to do that. And he already kind of did that. I think he wants to do different things.
Yeah.
With his movies. He wants to be a good all-around kind of filmmaker and not just, redo the same thing he did once before.
Yeah.
That's my gripe with it.
I get you.
That's what I feel.
I just think he's very good at building this outlandish kind of world. And I just had this thought. What do you think about him doing like a TV show?
He's written TV shows. He's written From Dusk Till Dawn. I mean, he has directed them.
He's written that for that show?
He wrote for that show, From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
So like, he has done TV, but he hasn't directed TV. I think he only wants to direct 10 movies?
He wants to do total 10 movies, so
and then
he considers Kill Bill 1 and 2 to be 1 movie, so.
Yeah. So 11 movies.
He's got 1 movie left.
Yeah, but I think he'll still write and stuff after he's done. I think he's just done directing.
And I would definitely read, because I read Hateful Eight when the script leaked. I read the first version of it. Very engaging writing. I also read the Pulp Fiction screenplay, but I'd like to see what he can do with an actual book. I know he's retrofitted or like redone his screenplays as books with more fleshed out details and stuff.
Django could be cool as a book.
Yeah, Django. I mean, and like, I think Django and like the old West world that Tarantino kind of made with Hateful Eight and Django, even Djangozorro, there's some much more stuff many more stories you could tell. I mean, I would like to see what Django does during the Civil War.
All right, well, say you're saying stories. What if they made this into like a limited series type of thing for Django instead of a movie?
I think it will work. I think it will work better because we can see like different, like the first kind of part of the season is Django going on like extended adventures of bounty hunting, right? And then the middle. I mean, if we're telling Django the Unchained the movie, it's very it's condensed for what he wanted to do. So I think you could really have a good episode setting up King and Django's relationship, having go on a couple bounty adventures. Then we introduce Hildy. We can see what Hildy's doing on the plantation while Django's not there. What got her thrown into the burn box?
Yeah.
There's so many different stuff. So much stuff you could do. Yeah. Oh my God! It's raining very hard out, and it's thundering very loudly.
Well, if that's the case, we're Seen It Before. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok with the handle @SeenItBeforecast. That's SCENE, It Beforecast. And also on Twitter with the handle SIB_pod. I'm Dan.
I'm Danny. You can find me on Instagram at Danny_Was, my Letterboxd at DJ Was, or my YouTube channel, which is just Danny Was. Stay tuned. On Fridays we post teases. On Sundays we post the movies and the podcast. So, stay tuned for that. We're really excited for stuff that's coming up, and it's fun to do.
We hope you had a good time with us. We had a good time talking about Django. It's been an honor. We'll see you next time.